I think that the thing is, a lot of artists, a lot of singers and rappers, they have like an inflated ego. She's basically female Kanye, bro. I mean, have you seen her temperament? Have you seen the things she says? She's a walking burning bridge, okay? Okay, so today we are reacting to DJ Payne talking about Azalea Banks crashing out about producers.
It's a shame that in 2025, artists are still trying to make producers feel like they're not equal contributors to a song, like producers are just a dime a dozen and beats don't mean anything. And they're not doing that because it's true.
So to give a background on this is about a tweet that Azalea Banks made where she was saying she doesn't pay producers because they expect royalties and money on the back end, essentially.
I've been through this enough times where an artist will try to break me down and abuse me into feeling like I'm nothing, so that I eventually just become happy to be there, grateful for any opportunity to work and give my energy and give my expertise and invest my time into their project without getting anything in return. The way to get around that is, one, by seeing your own value, whatever form that takes. Maybe it means you need to go to therapy, you need to meditate, exercise, all the above, but also to learn the business and learn exactly what a producer's intellectual property rights are, what is standard for a producer to receive in a situation where they're...
Who actually takes Azalea Banks seriously. Surprisingly, she has a pretty big fan base. I don't know who they are. I think they just want to see the insanity, but yeah, I mean, this wasn't even like a really big thing.
Producing beats and songs for a recording artist, because this shouldn't work on us anymore. But something really sad happened recently where a rapper, singer, songwriter, artist that I really enjoy, I love her music, she went on this rant against Boy 50 on Twitter, and it's some of the dumbest shit I've like. Generally,
Are you surprised that these artists have terrible takes? Are there producers with terrible takes on production? Like that BusyWorks Beats one at the beginning of this stream, like that was fucking awful. It's not really surprising.
She goes pretty deeply into whatever topic she's creating controversy around. Her name's Azalea Banks. She has a few hit songs, and I think her music's great. I think her music's super dope. But I was incredibly disappointed to learn that she doesn't respect producers. She's using this abusive language to try to cut us down so that we feel worthless. Brought it up on the podcast, we discussed it, but I want to hear from you in the comments. Is this something that you've experienced, and how have you, as a producer, avoided being affected deeply and emotionally by this type of language, this type of strategy that recording artists use? Because a lot of producers are in that space where they're being abused by recording artists and they feel worthless, and they, rather than learn the music business and learn what's really going on, they just take on that abuse and internalize it and think to themselves, yeah, I don't deserve anything. Anyone can make beats. I'm worthless. I'm just going to take whatever.
Do people really think that? I think some artists believe they have a lot of leverage over producers, and they think they could treat them however they want. And this leverage is due to perceived superiority, the saturation of music producers, and how artists are the face and voice of the final product
they offer, if anything. Hopefully we can share stories to combat this. Appreciate you checking out the new podcast channel. The link to the full episode is below. Let me know what you think of it.
Abuse a bit strong, yeah. Okay, so this is about the AI versus commissioning real artists thing, and then making music on a laptop. Someone comparing it to making music on a laptop. That is, comparing AI art to making music on a laptop. And then Busy says it's the truth. Producers complain about being credited, but then don't credit the artist they use for the type beat YouTube thumbnail. You mean the one that says Eminem type beat that has a picture of Eminem on it? Producers complain about AI copying producers, but then use loop packs from Cashmere. Yeah, not the same thing, man. Cashmere's getting paid for that. He also consented to it. Completely not the same fucking thing. It's just like, he's just clearly biased towards AI. Like, I don't know.
Whose music I love. I've always liked her music. And I feel like, if I can say it this way, maybe people will understand. I feel like Azalea Banks argues a lot.
Artists refusing to pay for beats but driving a supercar in their IG story. I feel like she's personally defensive about this because she probably does this. That's what I think. Then she's like, why should we pay for beats? The producers expect royalties, pub, and master share. Do y'all want us to pay a license for a certain number of years, after which you'll do whatever you want with it? No, it's not like producers have to spend money on marketing, touring, mix and master, promo, PR. Producers don't have to perform, and many of you are very limited in skill. Okay, first of all, many artists are limited in skill too. Let's be honest here. If you want to be paid for a beat, you should sell it entirely and expect no pub, no royalty, and no master share. So I get what she's getting at here, but the thing is, not all people are on the same level when it comes to being an artist. Like some people, for instance, are not going to be touring, and they're basically buying it as an investment. Like producers are selling it because they've worked on it. And you may not see any real money off of the publishing. Right. So basically getting paid, it's making sure you get paid for the beat in some way.
Pretentious, but she's usually on the right side in the wrong way, but for the right reasons, if that makes any sense. So, she'll go at J.K. Rowling for being a bigot.
He's talking about the artist that made the thumbnail. That doesn't make any sense. YouTube type producers don't make thumbnails. They just take a picture of the artist
and then she'll turn around and say something equally bigoted, but against someone that maybe deserves it, but just not in that way. It's hard for me to wrap my head around. But anyway, this is one of those situations where I think, damn, like I can't even find anything redeeming in what you say. But it also shows this problem that I talk about a lot in the producer community. A lot of producers talk about when it comes to entitlement and relegating producers to a position of not being valued songwriters, which is strange.
Like, I get what she's getting at here, but like I said, the problem is not all, like a lot of people are not successful, and producers want to still get paid for their work. You know, you're basically just putting a down payment on it by doing that. Also, like, if you're worried about licensing, just buy the exclusive. Like, she doesn't even seem to know how it works. Or does she? I don't know. Like, what the fuck? Are you paying the exclusive, or what are you doing?
Producers, we don't spend money on marketing, promo,
or fucking plugins, or gear, or electricity.
You kind of put a lot of effort into making beats come to life, and many of you should be grateful.
Yeah, and producers put a lot of work into making the beat come to life, so your dumbass can fucking be lazy on it and still have a hit song. Well, to be fair, I don't know if Azalea Banks is personally like that, but Cardi, for instance, come on, bro, the beats carried the shit out of that, out of iMusic.
Oh, so she's really going in on producers and this whole us versus them, you're not as... I don't know. The more I read it, the nastier it becomes, because she's really tearing producers down. She's really trying to make us feel entirely insignificant. And this is often what happens, unfortunately, what artists will do. And I don't even know if Azalea Banks believes what she's typing. This could just be some rage-fueled moment of...
Yeah, to be fair, she's completely insane.
Confusion. Who knows, right? I don't know her. And I don't know her to say nasty shit like this about the music business.
No, she says nasty shit all the time about everyone. What are you talking about? What? That's like what she's known for.
Usually on the side of creatives, usually. But this was this was an elevated dumpster fire of shaming producers for asking for what everybody else in the music business gets, and then this additional layer.
Bro, what happened to Pepe here? He's fucking happy today. He's actually smiling. Like, every single day he looks sad as hell on your...
Which happens all the time, where like I'll have a conversation with someone like, well, why do you want money for the beat? Oh, you want a writer's share for the beat? You're not a writer. Oh, you want royalties? Why? You're not even that good. It's like when usually a man sees a woman and is like, let me get your number. And she's like, no, thank you. Bitch, you ugly anyway. Fuck you. I'd never fuck you. You're going to die alone.
True.
It's that type of thing.
Yeah,
it's that type of energy. And I'm like, that's nasty no matter the context.
Yeah, I don't know if I have too much of a response to this. You know, I do think that I just think it's a ridiculous post. I mean, Azalea's always doing things, saying things that get her in the headline.
Yeah, you're ugly anyway.
Or get attention. It's usually negative. I just, again, don't like to create the divide between artists and producers. Like, we should be talking about things that make it easier to work together, as opposed to put everybody on guard. To me, this just increases the skepticism and the negativity around a relationship that you guys need. Like, you know, artists obviously need beats to make music. Producers need artists to put lyrics on the beats. Like, we have to work together, and just saying stuff like this, to me, just increases the divide and together. And I just don't like it.
Oh, it does.
I think it's like artists. I don't want to be an artist hater, but I'm high key an artist hater for the most part. Like, I love artists, but I never want to work with them, because it's like all art.
I think the thing is, a lot of artists, a lot of singers and rappers, they have like an inflated ego, especially on this like the high end of them. They have an inflated ego. When I'm saying like the high end, I'm talking about like the mainstream ones. A lot of the ones like that are high up in the industry, they have a very inflated ego, where they get rewarded for not doing much, whether or not they're talented or not. Because I'm not saying that like all of them aren't talented, or like there's plenty of talented artists and producers. I mean, and artists and singers and rappers and whatnot. But the thing is like, whether or not they are amazing, they get rewarded for it, and it leads to an inflated ego, in my opinion. And it has people continuing to do work like that.
Manager, when I have to do this, and this, and all y'all had to do is go do this. Well, I got to pay the producer. I actually think more people need to be broken off in the song process. Like, I think it's egregious that songwriters can come in, write the song, and really like create a flow for it.
Yeah, true.
Maybe even vocally produce a singer or a rapper, and all they're getting is pub. Like, I think writers should be getting parts of the master, personally, because it's like, if you're not getting a fee coming in and you have to wait till this joint recoups. People talk about major label artists and major label writers. Like, again, I'm doing a writing camp starting tomorrow. I have been talking to the guys about like, how do we get our writers paid. Obviously with this camp, I can't change the dynamics of the music industry, but that's why I'm trying to tell this story. Cause I'm like, you have these super talented people. So like for somebody to come in and say, the beat maker can't get paid up front for all the work, effort, and energy that they had to come in with, right? Like you had to have the technology and the know-how and the skill set to create this beat, to manipulate these sounds, to create something that you really enjoyed. And then a lot of times go back and change a few things, disrupt the flow of things so that you sound better on the track. And then you get to sit on it as long as you want. Maybe never, ever release it. That's another reason that producers, I think it's like, yeah, get your money up front because this shit may never come out. Or it could be 3, 4, 5 years. Or it may take 8 years to fucking recoup if it does recoup. Do you know what I'm saying? Like people don't think it's like, this shit is not just for...
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like you don't know what's going to happen with it. You know, you're just getting money up front. It makes sense, especially when you're putting in work for it.
Vibes. People are trying to pay their bills and also enjoy the craft that they're putting their time, effort, and energy into. So I don't know, shout out to Sis, but she's always had takes to me that are just...
Yeah, shout out to Sis. Why would you shout her? Come on. Stop it.
It's like, I don't know where her mind is, but I respect it because she's a different type of thinker. She's just not somebody that I'm ever really interested in reading what they have to say.
Yeah,
because it's like, I could be at the top of a tweet like, yeah, that makes sense. And then I get down to the bottom and I'm like, my God, I don't want to be affiliated with this at all. So I don't know. I don't like this take at all, but like, go off, I guess. I've never had anybody give a real reason that producers should...
That's why these $30 BeatStar leases don't make sense. The reason why that makes sense is for smaller artists. You know, that's why those leases are cheap. They're for smaller artists. Those are not for the big people. There's no reason for the big people to be doing a $30 lease. Because those leases usually have terms where it's like after a certain amount of plays, you have to renegotiate it, you know? And if it's a big artist, they're going to be breaking that like immediately, like within the first hour. Like if a big artist is paying for like a cheap lease like that, they're trying to take advantage of you. You know, they should be paying for the exclusive realistically, especially if they believe in the song. They're probably hoping you're not going to do anything when it exceeds the time or the amount of plays.
Get paid aside from the fact that they're like, you don't have to pay for marketing, mixing, mastering, and you don't have to go on tour. But every time somebody says that, my next thought is you benefit from all of those things. And it actually generates way more money for you. It generates a
yeah, well, I mean, what about the plugins, the gear, the amount of time it took to learn how to do it? The marketing, there's marketing too for selling beats too. Like there's so much to it, man.
Attention for you. You enjoy performing for the most part. A lot of artists really enjoy performing. They almost try to make it seem like the things that they want to do are now a burden, and the producer should see how much work that burden is. And it's like, that's such a weak cop out of an excuse.
Yeah, it's not I mean, it is kind of a cop out, but on the flip side, it is true, but that's what you sign up for. Like, you know, the onus is on the artist or the label to really get those songs out there. I think one thing producers should think about, though, is their pricing strategy, because, you know, what you guys have is different, right? Like if I have a liquor store and I have milk in the store, like everybody that comes through that door sees the price, gets that price. If they want to buy the milk, they get it and walk out the door. Like producers, you guys, I mean, if you have a beat store, it's kind of the same thing. But like a lot of times you guys are negotiating with the same beat, different prices depending on who's talking to you. Yeah. So I think what your pricing strategy is, how you approach artists, how you handle that conversation with artists at different levels, you know, and just hopefully it's a smooth process, because it is different. Payne, I'm sure. I mean, I worked with you before where I haven't had to pay for the beats. I just giving you, you know, percentage of the masters, you get 50% of the publishing. I'm sure part of that's also just the relationship we have.
Like the thing is, like you can do that if you know it's going to take off, if it's an actual big artist or if it's like a friend or something, you know. But when it's like some random dude, you know, if they're going to pay you for it at all down the road, that's what that's for.
Yeah. But again, it's just different with every artist depending on where they're at in their career, and that's, you know, it's just a lot different than selling other goods, you know, if you had a store.
Well, and Azalea Banks is damn near 4 million monthly listeners on Spotify. I can't imagine there aren't producers that she could quote unquote lock in with.
Well, I mean, I can imagine how she may have trouble locking in with producers. I mean, have you seen her temperament? Have you seen the things she says? She's a walking burning bridge. Okay. I could see how she may struggle with like locking in with producers.
Right. And you're the owner of the business is saying, man, I got to do payroll. I got to pay for janitorial services, waste management.
True. Why should I pay you, lowly wage worker? Why should I pay you? I gotta do all this shit.
I gotta handle people's 401ks. I gotta do this. And now you want a salary? Come on, man. And now you want health insurance? Come on. And I'm like, you directly benefit from all that. You keeping me healthy benefits you because I get to show up to work every day and perform at a high level that makes you a lot more money than I will ever see from my involvement in this company. So it's bullshit when someone like Azalea Banks says, oh, well, I got to go on tour. You don't have to tour, but you get paid to go on tour. You connect with more people. You get home from tour and you have more money in your pockets than the producers do because the producers don't get money off your tour. And you have more of a activated fan base, more fans if you're doing touring, right? And life is better for you because you did that. So why are you turning a benefit into a burden, as Aaron was saying? So legally, I'm just going to end on this. Legally, a producer is always a songwriter. Don't let these people tell you different. These conversations didn't happen 100 years ago when...
She's basically female Kanye, bro. She's basically female. Come on, let's be honest. Let's keep it a buck, dude. She's female Kanye.
A lyrics author, a.k.a. The songwriter performer, was claiming the person who composed the big band parts to their big song isn't a composer and isn't a co-writer and isn't, like this didn't happen then. So why is this happening now? And it's funny because the same people who, and I think Azalea Banks is a vanguard of culture, of hip hop culture, of music, of black culture, etc. But she's using these anti-cultural statements and sentiments to push forward her assertion. Because again, this didn't happen before kids with FL Studio started making music in an industry that should have never, that never wanted them in to begin with. And so now you're using similar language to degrade them. Kind of weird. But having said that, it's also hypocritical because Azalea Banks has been involved in this ongoing legal battle to get royalties from her former label. Just as a quick summary, in 2022, Banks sued Quantinet, I can't say his name, Quantinets, and then was countersued. She claimed that her former label only paid her a minuscule sum of $15,000 while the label reported album revenues of over $1 million, about $1.5 million. The owner is claiming that these are blatantly false royalty claims. And so also in 2020, and I remember this happening, Banks urged fans to stop streaming her album Broke with Expensive Taste to promote or to protest the alleged royalty issue. So it's cool when she does it, it's a problem when they do it. Okay. Consider the source and consider the full context, people.
Yep, true. Yep, DJ Payne is spitting there.